things sorting out with our banking, he sorts it out straight away for us. So, you know, I don't know. I just think I know what the prejudices are about Prec Moria, but the thing what makes me laugh so much is I know that there's a lot of people from Ljubljana now very interested in buying properties in Goričko.
But you know what is funny? Foreigners actually open eyes to other people in Slovenia about the richnesses here in the region.
It's beautiful.
And
it's
you
like
were
mini
the first
Tuscany.
one who found this abundant region. We didn't recognize this before.
Yeah.
So,
but that's what British people do traditionally. We spread
We
it
are
out
pioneers.
around the world and.
But just
Finding
initially,
places.
what I wanted to ask you, why did you decide to go abroad? But you are a young couple, you know. So why
we were at a stage in our life where we needed to change our lives. We were sort of stuck in a bit of a rut. We had some bad sort of family bad luck within our family.
I mean, the awful thing was that we were living in the UK. We had 2 children at the time. And we really wanted to do something. Ian had just lost his mum, and his father had died a little bit before that with cancer. His sister at 21 had died also of cancer. His auntie then fell down the stairs and died. So it was like one thing after another. And we watched all these programmes. There's a lot of television programmes in the UK about moving abroad and whatever. But we didn't want to move to the typical English Costa del English, you know, on a Spanish golf course with lots of English people and an English community. We wanted to do something really different. And
I think we need a challenge in life.
We needed a challenge.
Challenging ourselves.
And I think what did it for us was my grandfather, who's the farmer who I was telling you about. He's very British. And he hates the French because he's a farmer. He doesn't like French beef and all that sort of thing. And he doesn't like actually going out of the UK. But he's in a choir and he sings. And he was invited, or his choir was, to the Lake Bled Festival. And basically they came here for, I think, a week, and with my grandmother. So a load of old age pensioners on an autobus, they came here. And he actually said to us, "Ew, that bloody Slovenia, it's a really nice place, you know. Cows there, like that, you know. It's all agriculture. That was the first thing, because we'd never heard of Slovenia, you know. And so that was the first thing. And then the second thing was, when Ian's mum died, we actually moved into her house and we went to sell our house. And when we went to the real estate agent, we said, okay, we're going to sell our house and we're going to buy an apartment buy-to-let in London or something. And the estate agent said, oh, well, you know, property's very expensive at the moment. He said, I've just bought a farmhouse in Slovenia. And me and Ian are like, this is an omen, right? This is my grandfather 2 weeks ago, Slovenia, and now the estate agent, the real estate agent. So we thought, well, sod it. We just got on a EasyJet flight.
Third thing, omen.
Oh, yes.
Slovenia is actually an anagram of Ian loves. So.
Oh yeah.
Spooky.
So yeah, we just got 2 children in the car. One was 6 months old, one was 3 years old. Put them in the car seats as we got into Ljubljana. And we just spent 6 weeks travelling around, and we absolutely loved it. You know, we just got a nice feeling about it. And I think the thing for me was you know, in the UK there's so much problems now in society with drugs and with criminality and with violence and bullying in schools, and here we haven't seen any of that really. You know, occasionally we hear on the radio that a mobile phone's been stolen, you know, but really there's no real crime, you know.
British society is a violent society, and it probably always has been. I don't know, but it seems to have got worse.
Yeah.
I think when you have kids, you start really thinking about these things and
giving them a better life.
Do you want your kids to grow up in that environment, or if you've got the chance to change that and give them what we hope is a better start in life, then you know we hopefully we've done the right thing by the kids. So
I think as well we'd love our kids to speak more than English, because we're so.
When they're speaking Slovene now, they're learning German at school. So if they want to go back to the UK when they're older, they can go, but they'll have that advantage of being able to speak
A little funny story is we've actually been in England for 2 weeks this year.
Okay.
And we drove in the car, oh gosh, with 4 kids and God knows what else, all the way there and all the way back. And just as we're coming into Muskosovitsa, Lennon, who's actually at the judo now, he said, all I want to have is Juha. Because right, and we've been camping in the UK, yeah. So we've been camping. So he gets the car out and he's got the gas little one stove, camping stove, and a pan out. He came upstairs, chopped up some carrots and some onions, and him and his friend from up the road are cooking Juha. It's crazy. That is such a Slovene
when you're
thing.
coming back from holidays or from trip, it's always Juha.
Yeah, why though? But how does he know that? You know, and he's an English Slovene kid, but for us we were like, and they're all sat there going,
Juha is soup.
It's soup, but it's not like an English soup. It's like, I would say it's like water, dishwater, but it's not. It's they boil the beef bones or the pork bones, and it's basically it is. At first, when you taste it as a foreigner, you're like, this is like water, because in England we have very thick soups, but all they wanted to do was cook soup. And it's funny because I went with my Slovene girls on holidays to Croatia last year. We went on a drink or whatever, and they're driving home going, oh yeah, mama, yeah. And they, can you make some soup for us? And it was so weird that, oh my God, my 6-year-old boy is just like the Slovene when I'm cooking the soup.
Yes, even it's so funny. I never do it, during the week. I don't have time, but whenever, even when my kids coming home from holidays, we have to prepare soup for them. That's the habit,
Yeah.
He's gone native, definitely.
Yeah. He's native. He's like musky, yeah.
So you're so enthusiastic about, but I'm sure that in very beginning you also had some problems, and you still are going to have them. But maybe what it was the biggest problem, in all this process of integration or entering into this society?
Bureaucracy is the biggest problem in Slovenia, but we've realised, I think now, it's not just for us. This is for Slovene people also. So, I mean, I still get very despondent with the amount of bureaucracy here, and a lot of it is just nonsensical. I mean, when we first arrived, we spent weeks going around from office to different offices. Molly. But after a while, you just accept that that's the way things are. And I don't think it's probably not just Slovenia. I think it's other countries. I think in the UK, we never really got involved. I mean, I think I lived in the UK for 35 years. I think I went to the council offices once. This is Občina. Since I've been in Slovenia in 6 years, I must have been about 200 times. So for various things. And it astounds me. The bureaucracy here just completely astounds me. But as I say, it's not just for us. This is for all people that live here. So that's hard to deal with. I mean, what else have been the problems?
I don't know.
That's the biggest one. I mean, there's been
bureaucracy really is the thing.
There's been no real help. No help.
There's no help.
No help to integrate us. No help for foreigners that move here at all. And that's something that's really surprised me, because in the UK we're so used to foreigners moving into the country. You can go to your local council office and get everything's printed in I don't know how many languages. Here there's just there doesn't seem to be any process to actually deal with foreigners that arrive here and want to start businesses. If anything, it's made very, very difficult. And I think this is a big problem for Slovenia moving forward. For new businesses to move in here from other countries is virtually impossible. You've got to be so.
One strange example is we once got a call from an English guy who had a metalwork business in the UK. Because of the prices or whatever, he wanted to set up a factory, but he was looking at Austria, and I said, why not come to Pretmoria? We have all these government grants and EU grants or whatever. It'd be a really great place, because Pretmoria is also renowned for metal workers. Steel workers, metal workers. We have a lot of skills here. And I remember calling the local development agency, and I said, oh, I've got these guys, right, they're going to Austria to have a meeting, but I think we can win them over and get them to set their factory up here in Prekmoria. This will obviously then give opportunities for people to be employed, etc., etc. And the guy called me back. He said, I spoke to your development agency, and I said I'm here from Thursday to Monday, and I have an appointment on the Friday, and I asked to see them on the Saturday. And guess what the response was? I am sorry, we don't work Saturday. But to me, somebody in that job position who is employed by the state to encourage new businesses could surely give 2 or 3 hours of their time on a Saturday morning to say, yes, let's sit down, let's talk about, yes, we have this land here, you can build your factory here. You know, there was no real, how can I say, this guy just was so despondent, and now he's set his factory up just over the border in Rakkersberg or somewhere like that. And but it would have been better if it would have been here, because then all these people are unemployed who are from ex-metalworking industries would have had a job. But this is very hard, because you see in England we're very capitalist, you know, we see an opportunity, we go for it, you know, we work 24 hours, we put everything into something. But here I think a lot of people, well,
Okay.
this is it, oh, okay, we go to Austria. You know, this is a little bit of this attitude, you know. I mean, I remember 3 or 4 years ago, we had a big air show in the aerodrome in Rakitchen, and the bill looked fantastic. It was, for example, Russian jets coming in and fighter planes and everything. And we were sat in a bar with some Slovene guys, our friends, chatting. I said, oh, we're going to go to the air show tomorrow then. Oh, it's €10. But yeah, well, this is really cheap in the UK. You're looking to go to an air show, £30 or £40 per person. You know, this is an opportunity. Oh, we don't pay this, it should be free. And I think this is from the old system that everything is for free. But, you know, for us, paying €10, I think it was free for the children, so it was €20 for me, Ian, and the whole family to go and see something that we would probably never see again. It was, you know, and somebody had gone to so much trouble to arrange it, and it was local, and people were coming from all around, from Austria, from Hungary. It was fantastic. But our friends were like, oh, I'm not paying €10.
Yeah, it's our mentality.
Yeah, I don't think it's your mentality. I think, you know, certain things are, you know, in this system are expected. But there are a lot of really good things that I like here, unlike the UK. One of the things has got to be the health service here. I find it absolutely exceptional. I've had 2 children here, and the care and the hospital and everything was exceptional compared to the UK. In fact, Posh and Bex would probably pay to come and have a baby in Muscatubata Hospital. You know, they're paid to go private in some very posh London hospital, but they would get probably the same treatment, if not better, here, because it was fantastic. For example, I had my second child in the UK at 10 o'clock in the morning. By 3 o'clock in the afternoon, they were asking me to leave because they didn't have enough beds. Yeah? In Muscatubata, I have a fantastic gynaecologue. She's amazing. She walked me through both pregnancies. Both pregnancies were overdue. I went into hospital before the children were born because I was overdue. I was monitored. The care I received was phenomenal. And then once I had the baby, I was in hospital for 2, maybe 3 days after. The first night that I had the baby, they took the baby away so I could have a good sleep and recover. It was fantastic. In the UK, I had a cot with a metal wire and a bracelet that if I went to the toilet, I had to take the child with me. And if this bracelet was broken, an electrical alarm sounded and all the police came in because they were feared that, they were afraid that somebody was stealing the baby, you know? And I think, you know, okay, we complain about certain things like Ian said, bureaucracy and a little bit about people's attitude, but people don't realise how lucky these things. I would rather pay more like we do here than the UK for our health insurance, but the insurance that we get, the health cover is fantastic. My children, they all go to see a paediatrician. In the UK, we see one doctor. It might be a different doctor every time. They don't know us, they don't know my name, they don't know the history, they've just got a piece of paper saying, yeah, this is this, blah, blah, blah. I take my children to the doctors here. She's absolutely fantastic. She knows all the children, she knows what injections they've had, what their health has been like. For example, Marley, he was born here. He had a real problem with going to the toilet. We went to the doctor. She gave me an Napotnitsa, go straight to the hospital. They took him in for 1 week and they diagnosed him with lactose intolerant, just like that. I know friends in the UK who've had exactly the same problem. It's taken them 2 years to diagnose that. So, you know, we moan and complain about certain things here, but things like the health service, the school system is fantastic. I have absolutely no problem and I think it's really, really good. Really, everything's professional. I hope they never change it to some degree. But then I've got friends studying at 26, 27 years old. You know, whereas in the UK, people go to university at 18 and they're finished by 21.
Yeah.
If you start 18, I started at 19, so I finished at 22.
Yeah, well, a lot of my friends who are doing probably the same course.
Judo.
How was judo?
And show.
Judo. Oh no, this is karate. Huh?
No,
This is judo.
yeah, judo.